Hey, welcome back. Today I have Danielle Bornowski with me. She is a marketing strategist and she really focuses on helping the clients shift from being more transactional to being more relationship focused. And what we talked about in depth in this episode is how to utilize customer reviews and testimonials to really grow your business. This is something that we should all be asking for and should all be utilizing more of. So, this is a great episode for you if you have a business who's selling a product or service, which is all of us. So let's dive in. Hey there, I am Nata Salvatore, and you're listening to the Accidental CEO podcast. This is a space for high performing entrepreneurs who have built real success, but still find themselves tangled in the day to day. If you're done being the engine of your business and ready for scale with clarity, trust, and ease, you're in the right place. Each week, I'll bring you sharp strategies, identity level mindset shifts, and leadership tools to help you rise above the business and lead from alignment, not exhaustion. Because scaling isn't about doing more, it's about becoming more of who you're meant to be. Subscribe now and let's build a version of your business that finally supports you. You're not just winging it, you are leading it. But let's be honest, being the CEO and the everything else can get lonely, messy, and exhausting. That's why I created the Accidental CEO Collective, a free Facebook community for creative entrepreneurs who never planned to be the boss, but damn it, here we are. Inside, I go live every week to share the real stuff. Strategies that don't require a business degree, behind the scenes struggles, because you're not the only one, and wins that we actually celebrate, even the tiny ones. If you're a scrappy, smart, sometimes slightly burnout founder who is ready to lead with more clarity and less chaos, this is your room. We're building a business that works for us, not one that runs us into the ground. Come join us. Let's grow, mess up, pivot, and succeed together. Just search the Accidental CEO Collective on Facebook and join our group today. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Accidental CEO podcast. I'm your host, Nata Salvatore, and today I have Danielle Bornowski with me. She helps her clients shift from being transactionally focused to relationship focused so that sales no longer feel slimy and their marketing is more intentional, which is great. We all need some more of that. She's also a certified StoryBrand guide with more than 10 years of marketing experience. Super excited to talk to her about some strategies that we can apply and just to be a little bit more, learn how to be a little bit more intentional in our marketing and our sales. So welcome, Danielle.
Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, so just tell us a little bit about what you do right now, the company, who you help, and then I want to dive into your CEO story too.
So, if I had to give you a title, I would say I'm a marketing strategist. But really, what I do is I help people who either don't know how, or don't want to, or can't navigate all of the marketing advice that exists in the world and figure out how to apply it to their unique personality and business. That's what I do. So, I know all the strategies and I get to know you and say, this strategy would work for you. Oh, let's use this tool. This is the right thing. So a lot of times you aren't sure what the right thing is. Should I do this? Should I do that? What's the priority? And that's where I hop in is to just help slow things down and make sense of it all.
I love that. We all need a little bit of that, like I said earlier. So it's great offer to have. Tell us a little bit about how you ended up in this position of, running the agency.
So I went to school to study to do nonprofit PR and communications. And I just thought I would be in nonprofit for my whole life, my whole career. That was what I was destined to do. And I spent 10-ish years in the nonprofit world and just had some shifts in life. And I was sitting with my husband one day and just like, it'd be cool if we just didn't have a boss. Wouldn't it be cool to just make the rules up and do whatever we wanted to do and how we wanted to move things around? And that was it, just a conversation. And then a few months later, sitting in church one day, I don't even remember what the scripture was. It would make the story probably even better, but I just felt this calling. I think we were talking about a scripture where Jesus talks about, just really being who you are as a disciple and going out into the world and being a light. And I felt this calling, this tug to quit my job. And we got in the car after church, and I looked over at my husband and I said, I'm going to quit my job tomorrow. And he said, okay. And I put in my notice, had no idea what it was going to look like. Just kind of started out as like, I'm just going to freelance and figure out what things look like. And got a client and then another client, another client. I was like, okay, this is a business. And so we spent the first couple of years doing mostly social media management. That was kind of how people were finding us. They were just completely lost with what to do with social media. And then when I realized they came in saying that that's what they needed, but they had no strategy and no plan. And so I started doing a lot of that, kind of zooming out and saying, what do we need? How does this social media strategy play into everything else that you're doing with your marketing and sales efforts? And made the shift after a couple of years away from the done for you social media management and more into the let's look at the whole picture, like holistically, what are we doing to grow your business? And that's where we are. It's been 5 years now.
That's amazing. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people need help with either a lot of the hands-on, do it for me kind of thing on social media. But if you don't have that good piece of strategy and thinking about how that's going to serve your business purpose and take you in the right direction, you're just spending a lot of time talking to the wrong people out on social media. So very, very important to have that good structure and direction behind it.
That was what we found. It was, they were saying, well, I'm posting every day and nothing is changing. And that was kind of the cue was, okay, well, let's really, let's dive into this and see what needs to make sense for you.
So, given that customer reviews are a very central theme of your work, the importance of having that, can you share a little bit about why you believe that is such an underappreciated resource in when it comes to business growth?
So customer reviews and testimonials they're just this hidden gem of marketing and sales tricks and tips and it's a gold mine. And it's like you said, underappreciated. So I don't think people realize all of the value that comes from getting reviews from current and happy customers. So what this does, one, it helps your SEO credibility, right? If people give you Google reviews, Google likes that. It helps the algorithm. It helps to put content on your website. It's social media content that you can use. But what it also does, and these are the two critical pieces that I think people miss out on with reviews. One, it gives you marketing words to use from people who have already benefited from engaging with you, from working with you. And so you might think, oh, well, this is the value that I provide to people, but you look at your reviews and it's actually something different. It provides that social proof and that credibility, but it also allows you to lean into the things that people are saying and adjust your business. So I've done that before. I was promoting marketing strategy and sales growth and things like that. And what I was seeing in my reviews is that people were saying that they appreciated how I slowed things down and I helped them take small steps a little at a time. It was a huge thing for me to realize that that's what was important to them. It wasn't that the marketing and sales part of things, they needed that and we did that and we were successful with it. But it was seeing that the approach that I was taking to say, hey, it's cool. Yes, there's all this stuff going on in the world of marketing around us, but we're just going to take this one small little piece. We're going to do that really, really well. And we're going to add one little piece in and we're going to do it really well. And then that snowballs into having a full scale marketing strategy that actually works for you. So those customers, I probably wouldn't have figured that out as quickly as I did without customer reviews. So they are just a gold mine, a wealth of information to transform your business.
That's great. Do you have a specific way that you recommend that people go through this process to find the thing that is the common thread of your reviews and testimonials?
Yes, I do. And I've got a resource that I'll share with your listeners. So I have a template that's what it is. It's a template I'll provide that not only tells you what to say to ask someone to give a review, because it can be uncomfortable, right? Like that's where the slimy sales comes in. Like, not only did I ask you to give me money to do this service, but also now I'm saying, hey, will you tell me how great I was? And that's not what it is. What we're saying is when somebody says, thank you so much, this was so fantastic, you say, I'm so glad you had a great experience. I would love for you to be able to share that with other people who are interested in working with me. So I've got a template that I'll provide. It's just copy and paste. You customize a little bit in. And as part of that, it's got a list of questions that you can include in your request for people to give a really specific review. So if somebody gives me a 5 star and says, Danielle was awesome, we love her, while that, it gives me the warm and fuzzies, that doesn't help somebody who wants to work with me in the future understand what that experience is like. So I give really specific questions that I ask them to answer, which paints a really clear picture of the transformation that people experience when they're working with me. And they get to see what other people who are like them have experienced in working with me. So that's the key, is not only asking, because you have to ask. People are not, I'd say 1% of people, maybe 0.5% of people will go out of their way to give an amazing review without being prompted. So you've got to ask first. And the second thing is give them a little bit of help to get a really specific and clear review that other people are going to resonate with.
Yeah, I agree. It's a lot easier to ask specific questions that you can then transform in a good, solid, but clear feedback and testimonial that both other clients can identify with, but that you can actually also use it for data driven decisions in your own business. So you have to have those details of why did they love you? Why would they recommend that everybody works with you? So those are great. You talked about this back to basics when it comes to customers' reviews. So, can you maybe outline one or two of the six back to basics that you talk about when it comes to what every business owner should consider?
Yeah, so your reviews are, like I said, a gold mine. And so I've mentioned, a couple of the ways that you can use it. A couple of the other things that people don't think about is it can help you determine your email marketing. So if you have an email newsletter, which I think everybody should, so like shameless plug there. If you don't have a newsletter, you need one. This can inform the content for your email newsletter. So again, you get that social proof of someone else tooting your horn for you, but it also allows you to enhance that a little bit. You treat it kind of like a case study and say, this is what this person was experiencing, or this is what they were struggling, this is what they wanted, this is what we did to get this outcome, and this is what they said about it. And that right there, man, if somebody doesn't reply to that email and say, I'm ready, sign me up, take my money, let's do business, it's a great tool for that. So that's one kind of hidden gem. And the other thing that people don't think about all the time is using that kind of the same concept there and using it as an article or blog on your website. So you want to be putting new content out on your website. Again, from an SEO perspective, it shows that your website is, fresh and you're active on there. Great content to be an article or blog, kind of a little bit longer thing about how people, like, what the experience is like working with you.
How can the business owners use the customer reviews a little bit more creatively when it comes to their marketing materials and maybe some marketing content?
There's always the basic, just you can use an Instagram post or a social media post where you just put the person's quote on there. That's fantastic. If you put the person's quote in the caption, again, talk a little bit about what it was like on your end, what you guys did, what the outcome was. Social content is a great way that you can just kind of copy and paste and use those reviews. Another place that you could use that, if you're rolling out a new offer, that's a great place to use testimonials. PS, that PS, man, everybody reads that. Here's another little soapbox, if you will. If you are not using PSs in your email, please do. It is, again, it's kind of an underrepresented or underutilized resource. People are going to scan your email and they're going to get down to that PS and they want to know what you're going to say because that's like the last thing. So, PS, if you're on the fence about, signing up or doing this thing, see what Kathy said about her experience and then put that quote. People are going to reply and raise their hand and say yes.
Very good. I love using that PS area, like you said, is definitely everybody skims through it, look for something they want, and end up on the bottom of the page. So it's a great place to put some very strategic content in there.
Now, I add one thing. Now, if somebody is listening and says, I'm at the beginning of my business, or I've never gotten reviews before, or I haven't done this service before, how do I don't want them to feel like they cannot do this thing and they cannot move forward without reviews. If you don't have experience doing this specific thing, that's okay. You can still ask for reviews from people who have worked with you, and you can ask questions about how you were as a person, how you made them feel and how you helped them work through a problem. So think back on, if you started a business, you likely have done something in the realm of the topic that you're doing. right? Even if it's not this specific thing that you're saying your business is. So go talk to people who have interacted with you in some alignment of that capacity and ask them to just answer some questions or write a review. And you can just tell them, you can be so honest. I think people sometimes get nervous to appear vulnerable, but it is totally okay to say, and you can blame it on me. You can say, my marketing strategist said that I need some reviews to get started. I know we worked together on this project. I would love to get a little bit of feedback on you, from you on what that was like. People are going to be more than happy because they know it will make you successful. So if you've never done the thing that you're doing right now, just go ask for some reviews, even if it's something in alignment, and get that review, get a couple of them, and keep moving forward. And then make some amazing, happy customers and get some more reviews from them.
Let's be honest, you didn't build this business to work 80 hours a week, chasing invoices and solving problems at midnight. But now you hit a wall. You've outgrown DIY and you're spinning your wheels trying to scale and stay sane. That's where one-on-one coaching with me comes in. This is not a cookie cutter program. It's tailored, strategic support designed specifically for founders like you, the ones who built something from nothing and are now carrying all the weight. We'll get clear on what's keeping you stuck, simplify your focus, and build a plan that gets results without burning you out. If you want a second brain and no BS sounding board, and someone who can help you make better, faster, smart decisions, this is for you. Head out to accidentalceo.co/coaching. That's accidentalceo.co/coaching. And let's work together to grow your business and take your life back. Yeah, and that's great. And you can also, do some beta testing. Maybe you have a new course or a new product that you have a couple people test it out for you in exchange for a testimonial to give some good, information and feedback on that. So there's definitely a few ways to get it started if this is your first time offering a service or a product, or even, if you're just starting a new business. So you can always find a few people out there to test things out for you and give you some feedback too. What advice would you give for a business in how they can handle maybe some negative review constructively?
Yes, that is a great question. What if I ask someone for a review and it's not great? Actually, that's probably wouldn't happen. If you ask for a review from someone, you would know that they loved their experience with you, so you would get a great review. But if somebody sends you a review that is not great, the first thing that I would always tell people is don't take it personally. It probably really wasn't even anything to do with you. They were having something was off, they were having a bad day. So don't take it personally because this is not a reflection of you or your business, in most cases. The key things are to respond quickly. People want to see responses. In fact, when people are like potential customers are reading reviews, they're actually looking at the responses and putting more weight in the response from the business owner than they are from the business than they are the actual review that was written. So respond quickly. Second thing to keep in mind in that is to respond factually. So it's easy to think to kind of get a little bit defensive and, explain this is why we do things, or just over explain and give too much information. Just respond factually. And then the third thing is, just to respond and move on. You can invite it. This actually came up with a client recently. It was they only gave a 2-star review and didn't give any feedback. So we just said, hey, thanks so much for taking the time to write a review. Really sorry to hear that this wasn't the experience that you wanted. We want to have everybody have a great experience. So, we encourage you to reach out with specific details about your experience so that we can try to make it right. And that's it. If somebody gives really specific feedback, again, just be clear. Don't give too much information and just make it clear to people reading that you respond and that you want to make it right if you are able to.
Stick to the facts.
Stick to the facts. Don't write with emotion.
That's great. Great advice there. Is there a best time to ask for a review or a testimonial after you provided a service or sold a product?
So, couple of answers to that. And I'm going to say it's a nuanced yes, because usually a lot of times you have to ask a couple of times. People are willing to write reviews and to do that, but it takes a few minutes. They have to click on a browser link and they have to open a thing. They want to write a good review, so they want to be thoughtful. So it is okay to follow up with people if they haven't and remind them. You can try different modalities too. Maybe you reach out via email first and then try a text after that, or even pick up the phone. Hey, do you have a couple minutes you could write a review for me? I would say as soon as you can after the close of the exchange or the business or the purchase, the better for that initial reach out. And especially if you're in, I mean, like so many of your listeners are in a service based industry like this, just saying, if somebody says, as soon as they acknowledge the end, thank you, love this, this has been great working with you, or anything like that. I gave an example a few minutes ago, but just, hey, thanks so much. I really enjoyed working with you. Would you be willing to write a review for me? I can send some prompts, or some chats. I'll send the link via text in a few minutes, and you just follow up really quickly with that link and the questions that you want them to answer. And there it is. But again, if they do not respond within a day or two, it is totally fine. They will not get mad at you for following up and just saying, hey, just wanted to check in. Would love to hear about your experience.
Yeah, most of us need a little bit of a nudge sometimes to remember to do things that are not on our to-do list. As a certified StoryBrand guide, let's talk a little bit about how do you incorporate the framework in helping your clients, get good reviews and testimonials and get them effectively, implemented into their marketing.
So I am a certified StoryBrand guide, which means that I am trained in the 7-part framework put together by Donald Miller. This is a way that we talk about, we put your customer first. So oftentimes we as businesses trying to do sales and marketing, put ourselves as kind of the hero, like we're going to come in and save the day and fix your business. But actually, if you think about it from a customer perspective, nobody wants somebody else to come in and be the hero. They want to be the hero themselves. And so you as the business owner that are selling the product or service, you're actually the guide, the sage on the side that's helping them overcome this challenge, right? So they have a problem, you have a solution, you're here to help them overcome this challenge with your solution. And so with that, your customer is the hero. So they are the focus. And so we talk a lot about the customer experience. So this isn't when I go to market my business, it's not about what I want you to hear. It's me hearing where you are in the journey of your business and saying, hey, I hear that this is a problem for you. I can help you with this. Let's do this together. And so reviews play into that because you can see where again, if you're asking the right questions and they're answering, you can see where they are in their journey and be able to just, right there step in and say, I can help you with this. It also, like I said, when you use it to refine your business, it allows you to say, okay, this is what they're struggling with. I might need to make a few changes so that I can reach my target audience in a better way and serve them in a way that's, again, going to make them the hero and make them really successful. So it's all about thinking about, just kind of that user experience, putting the person on the other end first and thinking about how it is that they need to approach all of this, what it is that they need at this stage of where they are, and how you can just guide and support them along the way and not come in and steal the show.
Yeah, I love the book, and the process is definitely very helpful when it comes to just putting the spotlight on the right place. Like you said, people want to be the hero of the story, and you should be there just to guide them. So it's a great process. Do you have maybe a success story of a client that you can share with us where the customer reviews really help transform maybe the lead generation process for that client?
So Kathy is a client of mine, and Kathy's a bookkeeper. That's what she was saying. That's how she was promoting the business. I'm a bookkeeper. I can do this stuff. I can help you with your monthly books. I can get things cleaned up. And that's absolutely true. And she is fantastic at that. She also was helping people with tax prep and getting caught up and things like that. When she started getting reviews and hearing from people on the tax prep side of things about how relieved they were that everything was in alignment and everything was clean, she started to see a shift in how she needed to approach things. So when she was talking to people, instead of being like, I'm a bookkeeper and I do monthly bookkeeping, which nobody wants to commit to something monthly if they're not totally sure, right? They're a little bit nervous. What she started to do was say, I help you get peace of mind that your book, you know how much money you have, you know what's going on in your books, and we get things cleaned up. And then from there, people were willing to do that. Just a one time, like, let's do a cleanup. And then from there, she could say, I can take care of this every month for you. and you don't have to worry about it. And then you don't have to do an annual cleanup. It's just clean all the time. And every month you're going to know exactly how much you have to spend and how things are looking. Are you in the red? Are you in the black? All of those things. And so it completely transformed the way that she talked about the business, and it increased the number of people that were willing to say, okay, yes, I'm interested in doing this. I definitely want to get started on a cleanup thing. Completely transformed. It was all things she's doing, and she's still getting people to do that bookkeeping. It was just the focus when she started listening to what people were saying. That again is that emotional thing, hearing what it was that was really standing out to them that made them feel better about things in their business. Totally changed. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's great. And it helps connect what she does and how she serves the client, right? So coming forward when you're offering the service with bringing value first instead of just, hey, this is what I do, but like, let me help you clean things up in offering that value first to really help connect with those specific clients that she wanted to work. So that's great. Tell me a little bit about how have your business kind of evolved in the past maybe 5 years from when you first started to, in terms of the services that you offer and anything related to customer reviews and testimonials.
The evolution of my business, we started doing the done for you social media. And I didn't even realize that I was doing this coaching and this strategy work. It just kind of was happening naturally. Yeah, I live in a small town, and so there's a lot of I have, local clients and a lot of local word of mouth stuff. And so as I was doing, going to luncheons and things like that, make introductions and connect with folks that my clients knew. And what I started to hear was, and this was just kind of organically happening, not even with written reviews, what I started to hear was, people were calling me instead of saying, Danielle does my social media, which is actually kind of what I was expecting them to say. They were saying, Danielle's helping me fix my marketing. Danielle's my marketing lady. And so I started, I'm like, marketing lady, like, where are we going with this? And so then I started really looking at it and thinking about who are the clients that I love to work with? Who are the clients that seem to have incredible results? And as I looked at that and listened, I looked at their emails that they were sending me, the feedback, looking at those reviews, and started to see it called out, the approach that I took, the one on one, the helping them understand things and then make an informed decision. And so that's when I was like, this isn't monthly creating social media content for you that's not what people are saying I'm amazing at. And I don't want to do that. And I'll be honest, it's not my favorite thing in the business to do. And so when I got to see that, it was almost like they gave me permission to do the part of the business that I loved to do and was so fantastic at. And so, yeah, it's like my clients gave me permission to transform the business and move it in a way that now I get up really excited every single day to help people. Whereas on the social media side of things, I was like, oh, we're going to do this today. So a mental shift too. It was very cool.
Yeah, good way to get up and actually be excited about what you're doing. So, for somebody who's just starting right now in their entrepreneur journey, what is the one piece of advice you would give about just leveraging that customer feedback to grow their business?
Just get started. It's really intimidating. It's a little bit scary. What if it's not, not super specific, or what if it's not about the thing I offer, but just practice getting those reps and asking people for these reviews, even if only 50% of the people you ask give you a review. That's 50% more than you had. That's more. Well, I guess that math doesn't actually add up. It's more than you had. So just take the step out there, ask for those reviews, and use them as great feedback. Don't take them personally. Just look at them and think, okay, how can I make this even better for the next person, and then even better for the next person, and even better for myself?
That's great. Just get started, get going with things. Danielle, if people want to work with you or just learn more about what you do, tell us where they can find you.
Sure, I'm at DQB, so that's like Dairy Queen Boy, dqbstrategies.marketing. And you can, find how to connect with me there. Now, if you do dqbstrategies.marketing and /reviews, you can grab that tool that I shared where it's a copy and paste, send this to people, everything you need to say to ask for reviews and the questions that they can answer.
Perfect. We'll make sure to link that on the show notes for you guys. Thank you so much, Danielle, for hanging out with me today and sharing some strategies. I really agree with you. It's underused part of our business that we should be capitalizing on. One, to make good data driven decisions, and two, to really help connect with the right person by offering the right thing, to of value to those clients. So thank you so much for spending the time.
Thanks for having me today.
Perfect. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, and we'll see you again next week in another episode of the Accidental CEO podcast. Bye. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Accidental CEO podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us in the world where creativity and business strategy collide. I am Nata Salvatore, thrilled to have shared this time with you. Remember, every episode is a step closer to mastering the art of being an accidental CEO. So don't miss out. Hit subscribe, drop us a sweet review, and spread the word to your creative tribe. Your next big breakthrough could be just one episode away. Join us next time for more insights, laughs, and actionable tips. Keep pushing boundaries, dreaming big, and embracing the beautiful chaos of entrepreneurship. Here's to make magic happen in your business and beyond.